Thinking about moving to Jacksonville, you don't know where to start? Well, in just a few seconds, we're gonna check out one of the hottest and newest floor plans here in Jacksonville. So that being said, let's check it out now. All right, so starting off with this model home tour, the first thing I wanted to point out was that this is a 3-car garage floor plan, which again, when you live here in Jacksonville, having that 3rd car garage is huge because at the end of the day, whether if you only have 2 cars or maybe even just 1 car, what that 3rd car gives you is it gives you additional storage. Because when people move here from up north or out west, one thing you do lose here in Florida is you lose having that basement for storage that you may get in other parts of the country. So that's the thing that's always amazing is when you get that 3rd car garage to give you additional storage space in there. Now, as we come into this home, first thing you're gonna notice is we have nice tall ceilings throughout with recessed lighting. And again, they give us a nice, really large foyer here as we come in, which is, again, it just makes the space feel more open, more inviting when you do invite guests over. We also will have our first bedroom and bathroom over here. So starting off, we have bedroom number 1 up here at the front of the house. This bedroom, as you can see, has tons of natural light. And that's something that I personally love about here in Jacksonville is when we have such beautiful weather like we do, having all that natural light just makes the space feel more warm, more inviting. Helps make sure that you can actually, get going more in the morning sometimes. But overall, just a great space mixed with that natural light. As you'll see in here too, they did do some crown molding in here, which is a great touch. Definitely just kind of complete the space with that ceiling. And then again, just something I like to always point out, as you can see here for the closet, we actually have these sliding doors for the closet space. It is a standard closet, but having these sliding doors really just makes it, gives it a higher end look, which is huge because at the end of the day, they could in the bifolds, but the bifolds, they constantly break. So I do love when the builders do stuff just like this. And it does bring a good point that, if you are thinking about moving and living here in Jacksonville, it's important to know things that the builder may have as a standard, such as those sliding doors, or if it's an upgrade. So if you want to know more about that with this one, reach out to me with a call, a text, an email so we can go over all that great information. Then we have our first bathroom. So this can be more of your guest bathroom. And with this bathroom, we do have a single vanity. We have our toilet as well. Then we have our nice walk-in shower here with the seamless glass. Seamless glass in that we've seen builders do a lot more recently. It's just a nicer, cleaner look. Gives it a very more, again, higher end feel. You're gonna hear that a lot throughout this video. And a couple things that I love that they did here is they did do the higher, not the higher ceilings, they did the tile up to the ceilings. And they went with a very clean, very sleek, very smooth looking tile. So it really does give it a nice look overall, mixed with the transom window. And we also have our step down here to keep all that water while you're showering inside the shower where it belongs. So really just an overall great use of the space. It's really all you need for a guest bathroom for when people are visiting and whatnot. So just good job there. And then lastly, before we move on to the next part of the house, is I do want to mention this flooring. So this actually is a wood flooring. And I honestly love the look of it. Something that I was talking with somebody about, the other day is having this kind of flooring where it has more of that, brown wood look in it is awesome to see because it makes the space feel warmer, in my opinion, more inviting. And it's a stark contrast from those grays that we were so accustomed and used to, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. So I love the fact that builders are trying to go back to this because it really does pair well with these white walls and really allows some of the other elements in the house to truly shine. And then this one, especially because they actually did some additional, there is a little bit of gray in it, but it pairs super well with the overall wood look. So I know you guys want to see the living room and the kitchen, but let's go ahead and check out the next part of this house first. So with this office that they have here, I actually love what they did with it. And one thing you're gonna notice too, there's no doors within these spaces. This specific builder, what they do is they frame up 4-door prior to the model being sold to the eventual owner. And what they do is when it is sold, then they'll actually put the doors in. But while they're showing it as a model, they don't want those doors to get in the way, so they typically will take them out. But as you see here with this office space, again, we saw those nice tall ceilings. We have that recessed lighting. Again, plenty of natural light. That is just one of those things. Living in Florida, we want our natural light. We want to be able to enjoy this beautiful and amazing weather we have here in Florida. But as you can see here, they have it built as an office. You could do it as additional dining room space if you needed to. Technically, you could probably make it another bedroom if you really needed to as well, but there is plenty of bedrooms with this house. Just wait, you'll see more of them. But then what I do like too is they actually did this nice area over here with additional cabinetry. So again, if you do work from home, this is a great space that you could use to be able to store any of your work materials. You can even do like a little bit of a coffee bar, if you wanted to here, if you didn't want to put in the kitchen. Again, shorter walk from your desk to get some coffee or whatnot. But it just gives you an idea of what you could do with the space. And that's what I really like about these homes is when you get the ability to kind of check them out, or watch these videos and see what the builders do. It really does give you an idea of what you could do with your home. And honestly, that's one of those things that I can help with in determining, again, what may make the most sense for you and your family to do with the builder and what may make sense to do after the fact without the builder. Then on this side of the house, we do have, again, some additional cabinetry as well. We do have our 3-car garage. So this is a space that they have framed with just cabinetry, just a drop zone. But you definitely could utilize this space as a small mudroom area. I guarantee that's probably an option you could do with the builder. We do have our stairwell to the second story up here, so just hold on a second because we will be there in just a second. But then over here as well, we do have our oversized laundry room. And I personally love, and again, I do say this a lot, but I do love when the builder does these oversized laundry rooms because again, it never hurts to have additional space. If you want to put some additional cabinetry here, you could. And if you want to use this for space to put the hampers, you could. And then as you can see here, plenty of room for a washer dryer. The dryer is normally going to be electric, but here's the cool part with where we're at today. And you'll find out in just a moment where we're at. But with where we're at today, this is also a gas community. So you could do a gas dryer if you wanted to as well. And I do like that they did the shop sink here, or just the sink in the laundry room. Something that you don't have to do with the builder, but if you don't want to, it's something you do want to do at some point, I do suggest to pay for the water loop. That way it's ready to go for when you do want to do the sink yourself after closing. Then as we continue forward through here, we actually get to our next bedroom. Now what's cool about this bedroom is because it's kind of tucked in here, it also technically has its own bathroom, which you'll see in just a second. And so it can almost be like a mini primary if you want to use it that way, truly like a mother-in-law suite. And overall, again, it's a great size space. For reference, this is a queen size bed. We do have end tables on both sides. They did do the hanging sconces as well, just to add more of an impact to the space, along with the wall design, which is pretty cool. Definitely kind of gets its roots from the fact that we are in Jacksonville, and that is very much a water-based city. Funny enough, Jacksonville has the most navigable water in the US, so the more you know there. But as you can see here too, we still have our sliding doors for our closet. And there's even this little area tucked in here. They have a dresser. So again, if it was used as a mother-in-law suite, a dresser can make a lot of sense. Or if this is going to be for one of your kids, you could put a small desk there, and that could be where they could work and do their homework in, or it could be for where they do their gaming as well. So it could have multiple reasons, multiple uses. We do have storage here as well underneath the stairwell. One thing that I would have liked to have seen, and maybe they'll add it later, is a light in there, because it really is a really good sized space. But for now, it is nice to know that it's there and nice to have overall. Then we have our second bathroom. So this bathroom is obviously going to be more for this bedroom specifically. It's not as much for guests, but you can make this as like a secondary guest bathroom if needed. In this one, they actually did a shower tub combo. And honestly, look at that tile design. Personally, I love the pattern that they chose with it. It really is kind of cool how they switched from the subway tile vertically versus the octagon kind of tile, back and forth up to the top. But overall, I do like the fact that they went to the ceiling with it because it does make it look more complete and really finishes off the space the way you would expect it to for a home of this price point. And then here we do have our single vanity, which in this case, they did give us a quartz countertop with the cabinets, and they went with a white on white pattern. I'd love to know your thoughts on, again, do you like the white on white, or is it just kind of all blending together? Would love to know what you think of that as well. But from there, we are now actually going to check out and see what's upstairs, because after that, then we're gonna look at the rest of the house, which I'm sure you're dying to see as well. All right, so up here, the first thing you're gonna notice is this amazing loft. And again, just one other thing to point out too with it, we do have the nice wood tread as we go up the stairs. We do have the open railing. things that are definitely gonna be an upgrade with the builder, but things that I highly recommend because it makes more sense to do it now than after the fact. So just something to take into account when you are building. But as you can see here, this loft, you can almost make this space like another, mini primary because of the fact that with the loft up here with the 1 bedroom, 1 bath, it really is its own distinct space in the house. So again, plenty of room to make, have a living room up here, a game room, depending on how you want to use it. Obviously we have the foosball table here. Word of advice, I'm not great at foosball, so if you ever want to play me, you're probably gonna have my number on that. But overall, we also have the desk here, so kind of gives you an idea of how you use the space with living room for just hanging out, foosball table for some fun, and the desk for obviously getting some work done or some homework done. If it's gonna be, one of your kids, that's gonna be up here as well. So, or again, this could be a great man cave or she shed, so to speak. So there's a lot of different options you could have with the space up here. But up here as well, we do have the 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. So first thing we're gonna kind of look at is this bathroom here. And again, with this bathroom, you're gonna notice some similarities. Pretty much a carbon copy size-wise as the last bathroom we looked at. Maybe a little bit shorter, or I guess not as wide as the last one. But overall, they did do the shower tub combo as well. They went with maybe a slightly simpler tile pattern, but they still went to the ceiling with it, which is honestly great to see. And then they did the octagon pattern tile on the floor with the single vanity as well, which does match the one downstairs. So overall, just definitely some similarities there as it brings us to our bedroom up here. So this bedroom up here, really good size, definitely the biggest bedroom we've been in so far today. In this bedroom, they still just did a queen size bed, but the end table's a little bit bigger. We still have the dresser here. We even have the chair here as well. So there's a lot of different elements in here that really do kind of highlight and show off just how big this space is. In addition, we do have the nice, windows as well for natural light to be able to flow in. So they do a great job with this floor plan of making sure that there's plenty of natural light in all of the bedrooms. And then, the best part about this one is we do actually have our first walk-in closet here in this floor plan. So this walk-in closet is not the largest, but to be able to get a walk-in closet up here is a great bonus, considering the other 2 bedrooms don't have it. And obviously you could do some custom closets with this if you wanted to. This is normally gonna be just a single door, so no sliding doors with this. But overall, good sized space, especially if you're gonna have this for guests or for like an older child in their teenage years or whatnot. Or again, if you are gonna use this as like another mini primary. So a lot of different uses for this space, and they definitely have laid it out in a way to where no matter how you wanna use it, it's gonna fit for anybody and all. All right, so now I know you guys wanna see that kitchen and living room. Obviously it has some amazing features there, so let's check that out next. All right, so let's go ahead and check out this part of the house, the meat and potatoes of the house, the trifecta as I sometimes call it, the living room and the kitchen and the dining room. So this space, as you can see, it opens up on us. I mean, this is a nice, large, oversized space. And the first thing we're gonna check out is this dining room as we then make our way to the kitchen. And with this dining room, as you can see here, it is a 6-seater table. Obviously, maybe it's not obvious in the picture, in the video, but I wanna make sure I say this. But obviously this is a very large space that you could easily do an 8-seater table. You might even be able to do a 10-seater table depending on how big your family is without it protruding too much into the living room or to the walkway to go outside, which we will get to just shortly. So overall, just a really good way to utilize that space. And then being right off the kitchen the way it is right here is huge because again, if you're hosting and gathering and have a lot of people over, again, it's a very short trip to bring the food from the kitchen to the dining room. So that can be very convenient for some people. Now others, they may like to have the privacy of having that more formal dining room, which if that's the case, if that's you, well, as we already showed you, you have that office that you could use as a dining room as well, depending on how you want to lay it out. But with this kitchen, I love the fact that they did this nice oversized island. This is actually one singular piece of quartz countertop. So sometimes with these homes, you'll see them, they'll do it in 2 separate pieces. I love when the builder can get it all as just one continuous piece of quartz. It just makes it look finished off. You don't get those lines between the 2 pieces. Just a really nice finished product. And then we do have our nice oversized deep sink here. So again, if you're having to do a lot of dishes, you can easily get access to all of them. So really nice with that as well, with your dishwasher next to it. And then we come over to this side. So here, I love the fact that they actually continue the quartz for the backsplash. You know, it is a little more simple. So again, if you're used to seeing all those crazy, designs with the tile backsplashes, this is not the specific house for you as far as how the builder designed it, but it's simple, it's sleek, it's clean, and it's a lot less maintenance than having all that grout with the tile that you get with those tile backsplashes. Then as you can see here too, we do have our nice 6-burner gas stovetop, because again, as I've already mentioned, this is a gas community. So if you want to know where we're at today, again, I will mention it later on in this video, but feel free to also call, text, or email me right this second, and I'll make sure to tell you exactly where we're at with the specific model. And then again, all the cabinetry is going to be soft close, as you would expect from a home at this price point, which we will get to that shortly as well. I'm a big proponent of soft close. As we go through this, I will mention a story of a past client of mine. But overall, we also have our double oven here. So just really good touch there. And we do have our pantry. It is a walk-in pantry. They have the glass door just to kind of be able to show you it as well. But as I was saying, I had this past client, and he was 6'5", played football in college, and when we ended up finding the house that he and his wife ended up buying and had their 2 sons grow up in, one of the biggest things that really finished it for them, that really said, okay, this is the house, and it's crazy because it's so minor, was that it had soft close cabinets, because as he would joke, well, now it's Hulk proof because he was a bigger guy. So again, we do have more cabinetry here, and that's just where it's really become something that I've really, keyed in on with myself with houses. So here's a cool thing too, with this microwave, it is down below, but what's really cool is it's a little more high tech to where you can just press a button, it'll open and close for you. And it's not one of those doors, it's actually just a pull out, which is a really cool thing that we don't see very often. So I'd love to know what your thoughts are on that, because for me, I was pretty impressed, I'm not gonna lie. I go through a lot of houses and I don't see many like that. Then we have our living room here. So with the living room, again, it's a great size. You get a nice large sectional couch here, which does really show you just the depth of the space. And as you can see too, we do have the coffered tray ceiling, which again, it gives it more of a look, gives it that high-end feel, really just finishes off the space in a way to where it makes it just feel, super luxurious. And just in that, again, I know I've said a couple times now, you would expect to see at a home in this price. We also have our gas fireplace with obviously the TV mounted, just to kind of show that sleekness that you could do with the space. And then a cool thing here, obviously, to be honest, I don't know how often this would get used to sit on, but what is really cool what this builder did is they actually doubled it as storage. So again, if you needed to store anything, whether it's toys for kids or if it's additional electronics that are used in the living room, you have plenty of storage there that's kind of built in with the space that really does just give it a nice feel and hides it in a way where it makes sense and still looks very great as well. So overall, we're not done yet. I know it's crazy, right? A lot of this house we've already seen, but there's still more to go. So you may think we're going outside, and we are, but let's try that primary next instead. All right, so with this primary, first thing you're gonna notice, this is a massive bedroom. I mean, come on, like whether if it's the king size bed, if it's just this nice oversized, I guess, ottoman or whatnot to be able to relax, take your shoes off, put your shoes on. It just shows you with end tables, and there's even a dresser in here. It just shows you just how massive this space is. I mean, overall, it really gives you some nice privacy from the living room, but it also gives you plenty of space to roam, to relax, to be able to really make your own. And with all these windows you see here too, it gives you so much, as I said before, natural light. So again, you feel like you're at home when you're in this bedroom. And even just nice additions like the recessed lighting, the tray ceiling with some wood inlay in there to add some texture to it. You obviously have the chandelier here, which, to be honest, most people here in Florida probably would say, hey, I'd rather have a ceiling fan there, but does show you what you can do with the space. And you even have some surround sound speakers, which aren't just in here. You may have seen this video and you may not, but it's throughout this whole house they have the surround sound. Then it brings us to our primary bathroom. So this primary bathroom, we do have a linen closet when we first come in. Obviously we have the water closet as well. And then we get into the bathroom where the magic happens. And what I mean by that is this space, it's a great size. We obviously have a really nice large soaker tub, standalone soaker tub. But next to it, we also have a really good size shower as well, which has a component in here that I absolutely love. So if you think you know what it is, I'll give you 1 second to think about it. But what I love about this shower is they do have the rain head here. And I love when the builders put those rain heads in, as long as it's not the only shower head in the bathroom. So in this case, they have 2 other heads as well. And the reason I say that is because if you have just the rain head, it doesn't always work as efficiently as you'd want it to. So to have multiple heads, it definitely gives you everything you need in the space. And then to have the shower enclosure with the tile up to the ceiling, chef's kiss. But as far as the vanity, I do like that they have a his and her, sinks. Obviously, it still gives you plenty of cabinetry as well. They continue the same countertops of what we saw in the kitchen. So overall, just a continuing of the same thing of just that luxurious look with using a lot of whites and grays throughout the space. Then we have our walk-in closet, our primary ensuite closet. And as you can see here, they do a great job utilizing the space with tons of cabinetry, tons of storage options across the board. So you have space over here, tons of pullouts for whatever you may have, but you even have a little kitchen over here as well, just to highlight, just how large a space it is. So it's almost like an L-shaped closet. So overall, great way to utilize the space. This is something that you could do yourself as well. So just one of those things that it's cool when builders do this because it gives you a feel of what you could do yourself with the space. Whether if you buy this floor plan with them or if you choose a different floor plan that may fit your family's wants and needs even more so, which I can help you with. So as I said before, reach out to me so we can go over all that. But all right, now let's go and check out that beautiful backyard with an amazing feature that you're not going to miss. All right, now we are outside. I'm sure you've been dying to see out here, especially if you've seen some of it from the other parts of this video. But out here, I love what the builder did with this nice oversized back covered patio. You obviously could screen it in. In this case, the builder did not, but you do have that option to do with them. And what I love about this space, it's not just the back patio, the back porch you get, it's also the rest of the elements they do with this back space. So real quick, you actually do have your gas hookup right here along with your water hookup. So in this case, they do give you some of it out there as well. But if you wanted to do a summer kitchen, this is the spot you can do it in your back porch. Now we have our putting green. So this is a feature we don't see very often. Obviously, this is going to be an upgrade with the builder. But if you live in Florida, I guarantee you at some point, you're either going to be on a golf course, whether if you're playing or you're just hanging out with friends or family who are playing. So again, why not work on your putting game while you can do it while you are home as well. But overall, I do like the fact that they did this. Maybe it's not practical for you to do with your home, but it's cool to see what you could do if you wanted it and desired something just like that. And then as you'll notice too with here, most of this backyard has now been turfed. So with it being turf, it makes it very much a zero-scape backyard, which allows you and your family to truly be able to fully enjoy it without having to ever do any yard work or have a whole bunch of upkeep with it. So it's really cool that they did that. Something that you could do with the builder, something you don't have to do, but it's nice that they did that. Then we get to our summer kitchen they have out here. Now this is semi-covered, as you can see with this metal pergola that comes off of our back porch. But this summer kitchen, they did a really nice quartz countertop. This may actually be a granite countertop as well. And they did a waterfall effect with it. So it goes down to the floor just to kind of finish and complete the look. And with it as well, you get plenty of countertop space. We do have our trash with it as well. We have our mini fridge for all of your drinks to be able to stay cool on a hot day. We even have over here a cooler for ice and drinks as well. So a built-in cooler. It's pretty cool. You don't see it too often. It does obviously drain out as well. And then another cool feature, something that you don't see a ton, is this pizza oven. So these pizza ovens are actually that's become more popular here in Northeast Florida. And it's one of those things that it's just another element that you can add to your backyard if you desired, to be able to, again, have a little bit of a family, pizza experience, see who can make the best pizza, or in my case, the worst pizza. But again, just cool things you can do across the board with the space that, in this case, the builder has kind of shown us with this backyard. Obviously, we have another seating area for being able to eat outside on days that it's beautiful like today. But again, because of the fact that we don't always have nice weather, that is a nice thing. You have a spot that's covered for days that maybe it's raining and you still want to eat outside, but also a spot out here where you can enjoy the nice weather on days that it's not raining. And then lastly, we have our back fire pit. So this fire pit, a couple things I want to point out. This is going to be a gas fire pit because, again, gas community, another gas hookup, should hopefully start making sense now as we've gone through most of this video. But I do like the fact that the builder did this really nice custom kind of seating area. So again, if you want to invite friends or family, guests over, you're ready to go. You have everything you need. Kids can play some putt-putt or just, practice their short game. The adults can hang out on the fire pit. And another cool aspect, it's the last thing I want to end on here, is this wood they did here. This isn't actually wood. So this is actually going to be more of a composite material, which is really cool because it keeps, it stays cool, so it doesn't get hot. It doesn't splinter like wood does. So again, it's a material that you do once, and ideally, you never have to do it again. So I love that the builder showed that off because it's something that you don't see a ton here, but it's something you can do with the home. So yeah, so overall, amazing house. I'm sure you want to know more about what the price of it is, the specs, the incentives currently. So let's go and go over that now, as well as just what it means to live here in Jacksonville, Florida. All right, so this floor plan, I mean, it's pretty amazing. I'm not gonna lie with you. It really does serve tons of purposes. And overall, it really does epitomize what it means to live here in Jacksonville, Florida. Because again, when you live here, you wanna have a home that you can thoroughly enjoy, a home that does give you all your wants and needs and gives you, again, the reasons why you live here in the first place, which is, again, being around nature, having all that natural light coming into the house. And so ultimately, that is something that's just something that not every floor plan, not every builder, not every neighborhood gives you that. But this one we're in here today does do just that. Because today we are actually in the Newbrook neighborhood, which is located here in Silverleaf, one of the newest and hottest master plan communities here in Northeast Florida. And what's so amazing about this area is, again, you're so close to quite a few different things. So again, if you want to go to St. Augustine and you want to go to, the downtown area, to St. George Street, to the fort, again, you're only about 30 to 40 minutes away. If you want to go to the Jacksonville Zoo, or let's say it's a Sunday, you want to go see the Jacksonville Jaguars play a game, again, 30, 40 minutes away. And the nice part about it is the travel. It's pretty much just all highway driving. There's not a lot of back roads or anything like that you have to go on. So it's a pretty convenient drive for the most part to get to most places. Now, let's say you want to go to, go to the airport. Let's say you're going out of town, you're flying out somewhere. Again, 45 minutes or so, and you can hop on the highway, get there, and head on out for a vacation somewhere to visit friends, family, or just to have some fun. So you have that as well. Now, let's say you want to do some shopping. We have multiple shopping options here in Silverleaf as well as nearby. So if you want to have major shopping, we have Durham Pavilion, which is about 15, 20 minutes away from here. We also have the St. John's Town Center, which is probably 20, 25 minutes away from here. So still not too far away to get to those things, but at the same time, you still have more local-based stuff here in Silverleaf that's only a 5-minute or so drive away. That includes, a new Publix. It includes different restaurants, different, boutique, shops as well. So you have tons of things nearby in an area that, again, is going to be constantly adding more and more stuff. So very convenient across the board there. It's really why I do think Silverleaf is going to become one of the biggest areas to move to and live in here in Northeast Florida in the next decade or so as they continue to expand and grow out. And ultimately, it's really why, when you can find a home like this at the price that it's at, it really does make a lot of sense for you and your family to be able to grow into, but also get equity down the road. Because today we are, like I said, here in Newbrook, and this is a Toll Brothers built floor plan, and it's called the Barnwell Elite. Funny story, the Barnwell Elite, the reason they call it Elite is simply because it's a one-story floor plan that you can do a second story with. So when you go to a second story, they slap Elite at the end of it. So it's kind of a cool thing there. But this floor plan, it does give you a 3 to 5 bedrooms depending on how you want to utilize it. This one we were in today actually had 4 bedrooms, and it gives you 3 to 4 bathrooms, which you could also do a half bath depending on how you choose to do the floor plan. But in this case, this floor plan we're in today has 4 full bathrooms, which is amazing. And this floor plan with the second story does run about 2,900 square feet, and you do feel that square footage throughout this whole house in a good way. And then obviously the price, as you I'm sure want to know more about, the price of this one actually starts, you're not going to believe this, at $685,000. So that's a great price to get into an amazing neighborhood like this, and still gives you room to be able to do some amazing design center options to really customize it the way you want it. So some of these things I mentioned today that could be upgrades, there are things you can do with the builder, in this case with Toll Brothers. You just got to reach out to me so we can start the process and figure out what floor plan makes the most sense. In addition, and do keep in mind with the price, that's always subject to change. But in addition, they are offering some pretty substantial incentives when you do build with them or buy one of their inventory homes or their spec homes, so to speak. So if you want to know what those incentives are right this minute, reach out to me as well with a call, a text, an email, a time on my calendar, because that will be in the description of this video, so I can help get those questions answered for you. Because again, those are always subject to change as well, so they could be better or worse than they are right this second, but you won't know unless you reach out. So that being said, I'll see you guys again in our next video. And if you want to see more videos just like this, stay till the end because you will see some additional ones at the end of this video as well. All right, until next time.